So when you're in her office, okay. So this is the thing. They give a directive that Count 7 doesn't exist anymore. So that the prosecution should amend it, change it, it doesn't exist. I still play to that 740 law. Yes, it was an error. It's not an error, big error. So I want them to correct that. That was one of the motions you asked. That appeal should be set aside. That's right.
All right, my people, we have a very serious breaking news, and this one is already shaking Abuja from the top to the bottom. I want you to pay close attention because what happened today is not ordinary. And as usual, before we continue, make sure you like and subscribe, because what we're about to reveal will open your eyes to things the mainstream media will never explain to you. Now let's go straight into it. Today being the 13th of November, 2025, something happened that has never happened since this entire trial began. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, inside the DSS custody under strict restrictions, under surveillance, and barely allowed to even file simple documents, was physically taken to the Supreme Court of Nigeria, not Federal High Court, not Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court. And he went there with one mission, to personally submit a letter to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, asking the Supreme Court to discontinue his terrorism trial immediately. My people, this is not a small move. When a detainee bypasses every lower court and goes straight to the top of the judicial food chain, it means one thing. Something is not adding up, and he wants the highest court in the land to take responsibility for what they started. Because let's be honest, the entire problem started from the Supreme Court's controversial ruling of December 15th, 2023. And what Kanu is asking today is simple. If the Supreme Court says I should be tried, then the Supreme Court should also answer one question: under which law am I being tried? This is the same question Justice Omotosho has been avoiding, the same question the prosecution has been dancing around, the same question DSS keeps blocking him from filing. And now he has forced that question straight to the doorstep of the Chief Justice. This alone is enough to cause panic. Because Kanu is not saying free me. He is not saying reduce my charges. He is saying, you people used a repealed law to send me back to trial. Correct your mistake. Now let me explain the weight of this so you understand it clearly. This terror law they used to remand him, the 2013 Terrorism Act, has been dead since May 12th, 2022. Buhari repealed it and replaced it with the 2022 Act, no savings clause. Meaning once the new law came in, the old one ceased to exist. It became a legal corpse. No judge can touch it. No prosecutor can revive it. No court can act on it. Yet the Supreme Court used it. And now the defense team has come back full force, calling out the entire foundation of the case. They said point blank that anybody claiming Kanu has a case to answer does not understand the law. They said the 2013 Act no longer exists and cannot sustain prosecution. They said the Federal High Court lacks jurisdiction because Kanu was abducted from Kenya without extradition. They referenced the Kenyan High Court judgment confirming the illegal rendition. They reminded Nigeria of the Court of Appeal ruling that discharged him on the same basis. And for the first time, they made it very clear that what is happening is not a trial. It is a legal theater built on an illegal foundation. Now here's where it gets even more serious. This move today directly affects the November 20th judgment. Because if the Supreme Court agrees that the law used is invalid, the entire trial collapses overnight. If the Supreme Court admits it made a per incuriam decision, the ruling of 2023 becomes a nullity. If they refuse to answer the question, it exposes something far deeper. And this is why DSS rushed Kanu today with officials surrounding him tightly. They know the implication of what he is doing. It also explains why the president's aide quickly came out to say Tinubu will not interfere, that the case is in court, that the president is abiding by the rule of law. That statement was not random. It was strategic. It is distancing the presidency from whatever way this matter goes. Because once you walk into the Supreme Court with a document challenging their own ruling, you are not just attacking the trial, you are attacking the credibility of the judiciary. This is not something they can sweep under the carpet. Stay with me, because in a moment, we're going to break down exactly what this move means for the 20th of November, how it could delay the judgment, how it could disrupt it, or how it could force the court to change course entirely. Because the tension right now is not ordinary and the judiciary is under pressure from multiple directions. Now, what is happening behind the scenes right now is bigger than what the public is seeing. And as usual, if you've not liked or subscribed, do that now, because this part will explain exactly what to expect on the 20th of November and why today's move has thrown the entire system into confusion. Now, let's continue. When Nnamdi Kanu walked into the Supreme Court today with DSS officials surrounding him, that single act created 3 problems for the Nigerian government, 3 problems for the judiciary, and 3 problems for the prosecuting team. Let me break them down one by one. Simple, bold, straight to the point, so you understand what to expect. Problem 1. The Supreme Court is now trapped by its own ruling. The 2023 Supreme Court ruling is now officially under attack, not from politicians, not from journalists, but from the person whose life and freedom are directly affected. Kanu is not going to the Supreme Court to argue emotions. He is going there with one question. Under which law did you people send me back to trial? That question is dangerous because there is no correct answer. If the court admits it used a repealed law, the judgment becomes invalid. If they refuse to answer, they are confirming the allegation of judicial manipulation. If they try to defend the ruling, they expose a contradiction in the same judgment. No matter how they respond, somebody loses. Problem 2. The November 20th judgment is now uncertain before today. November 20th looked like a sealed date judgment day. Case ending. Court ready. Judge already frustrated. But now everything is open again because the Supreme Court cannot pretend they did not receive a letter from the defendant whose case they ruled on in 2023. The Court of Appeal cannot pretend they are not aware that the Supreme Court ruling is being challenged. And the Federal High Court cannot pretend they don't see that the entire basis of the trial is being questioned. This move introduces procedural confusion, and courts hate confusion. It can lead to adjournment, suspension of judgment, fresh applications, jurisdictional challenges, or even a complete derailment of November 20th entirely. This is why people in the legal circle are saying today was not just a visit, or it was a strategic bombshell. Problem 3, DSS is now exposed publicly. For months, DSS has been denying everything. No, we didn't stop him from filing documents. No, we didn't restrict his access. No, we allow him everything the court permits. But today, in front of cameras, in front of journalists, in front of lawyers, DSS followed him to the Supreme Court. Why is that important? Because it proves 2 things. 1, Kanu is under extremely tight control. 2, if he has not been filing documents, someone is preventing him. This is exactly what his lawyers have been shouting for weeks. And now the public has seen it with their own eyes. Problem 4. The president's aide statement was not accidental. The presidency rushing to say, Tinubu will not intervene. The case is in court. The president respects the rule of law. Is not a neutral comment. It is a political shield. It means we don't want to be blamed for whatever the court decides. This is exactly how politicians behave when the situation becomes unpredictable. Problem 5. The defense team has built a legal wall around him. The defense is no longer fighting the trial. They are fighting the foundation of the trial. They are saying, this court has no jurisdiction. This law does not exist. This case is built on illegality. This trial cannot continue. They are not contesting facts. They are contesting the legality of the trial itself. And this is where things become dangerous. Because once a case has a jurisdictional problem, no judgment delivered can stand. So what should Nigerians expect on the 20th of November? Let me tell you the truth the mainstream media won't tell you. There are 3 possible outcomes. 1, the judge may suspend the judgment because of the Supreme Court letter and ongoing appeal challenges. 2, the judge may forcefully give the judgment, which risks being overturned later because of procedural errors. 3, or the court may direct that the issues raised must be resolved first before any judgment can be delivered. Any of these will shake the country. Why? Because Kanu's detention has become a symbol, politically, legally, and internationally. The government is under pressure, the judiciary is under scrutiny, the world is watching, and the November 20th judgment is no longer straightforward. Today's visit to the Supreme Court opened a door the government never wanted opened. It forced a conversation they have been avoiding for 2 years. It put a spotlight on the judiciary. It exposed contradictions in the system, and it brought the entire case back to national attention. Whatever happens on November 20th will have consequences far beyond this trial. My people, this is just the beginning.
As a northerner, why do I like the Igbo people? Most of them are resilient and they are courageous. That does not mean you don't have cowards among them. When you say a particular tribe has this character, what it means is that more than 70% of them, they have that character. But you can still have some persons again who do not have such characters. So now this is a region that more than 70% of them are resilient. They are very hardworking. They are courageous. And they love their leader. We in the north, we also love him. Mr. President, I appeal to you in the interest of national healing. I appeal to you, please, let this case be discontinued so that we can have peace in the southeast, so that we can have peace in the entire country. And it will be to your credit that during your tenure, the southeast was stabilized. It is far better. And the votes you are looking for, you will get it easily without spending money. Because in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he does not need to give people money. After his detention, look at what we are going through because of him. Because we believe in him. So that's the appeal to Mr. President. And the President, let me say this, he's a listening President. You'll be shocked that before 20 this case will continue. Because I wrote a letter to President Tinubu, less than a month, he replied. I was shocked. How is this possible? That's the president of over 200 million people. How is it? I have written letters to governors. For more than 2-3 months, they have not replied. And you, as the president of the entire country, you are replying in less than a month. How do you do this? So that's why I'm using this medium to appeal to President Tinubu. There's no need for this case to continue like this again. Let it come to an end. Political settlement is the best way so that we can have peace in the country.
What do you say to those who argue that Kanu detention is illegal under international law? Some others say that he's a terrorist and all kinds of allegations. What is the truth? Given the little you know about him, your interaction with him in the last 2 months while in detention, what do you think?
I think by my little exposure and my stay in the north and in some other parts of the country where I have had cause to listen to persons who have directly or indirectly met with terrorists, I should know one when I see a terrorist. A terrorist will not be talking about peace. I was shocked when I met with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He was always emphasizing about peace and justice. So a terrorist will not want people to live peacefully. A terrorist, you see, there are some things I don't want to reveal because of the security implication. But because there are some persons in detention that anytime they have opportunity, because not all the time they bring you out, when they have opportunity to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Fulani girl that the first time I met her in that detention was when I saw her with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. She had gone there to complain, to ask for favor. So I was like, why is this? Yeah, because they don't usually allow that. That's one good thing about the DSS facility. They don't allow that at all. But the girl was to be taken out for medication. So she saw Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and quickly started talking to her because she doesn't speak English fluently, and there was a gap in communication. So I had to come in. I realized that she has more confidence in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu than even her own father. By the way she was talking, Mazi was consoling her. that do this. She said she was even complaining that she has stayed here for a long time. She doesn't want. She was talking about even committing suicide. Mazi was consoling her and telling her what to do. That's the kind of, if a terrorist will not bring. I'm talking about a Fulani lady, and they are virtually all tribes you find there. Everybody in the detention facility rallies around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and the way he was always speaking to me, a terrorist will not be talking like that. And okay, another thing again, on a Salah day, that Salah I spent in detention, the big Salah, I as a Muslim, I felt irritated. But even Mazi, he doesn't, he tolerates all of these things. Because on that Salah day, during the celebration, the Muslims usually shout Allahu Akbar, but they were shouting. So I was calling, you see, this detention facility, they are Muslims, they are Christians, they are others. Aside that, you don't have, it's not, even if all of us are Muslim, you don't have to shout and disturb others. At this particular time, some persons want to sleep. Some persons wants to just sit down quietly. You cannot be shouting like this. But throughout, for the 3 days that happened in the detention facility, he will not complain. Instead, those who want to come, because when people have problem, they run to him, not even to DSS officers who are supposed to take care of us. You tell them, no, it's just for a short period of time. Just be patient. When you live with people, you have to tolerate them. I was angry, but he was calming others down, because I was also telling those that I said, no, you don't have the right to shout. We are all here. Even if all of us are even Muslims, you don't shout. Some persons will want to sleep. But because I lead prayers in the detention facility also, but some persons, most problems that we have in this country is as a result of ignorance. But they couldn't challenge me because they know that I am a Muslim, and I also one of their leaders, even in the detention facility, because I lead prayers. And it was when I came that we started even doing the Friday Juma prayers. But I told them that if you want to worship God, you don't have to disturb another person. That any act of worship where another person will feel injured or another person's peace will be taken away, that is not an act of worship that will be rewarded. Now we don't have to raise our voices. In fact, even when I do recitation, I bring my voice down so that it doesn't disturb others. So I was always telling that this is how a religion should be practiced. It should not be a source of problem to people. But Mazi was not complaining. So if he's a terrorist, I have not seen anything that will make me. That's why I believe in him. I believe in him 100%, more than I believe in my state governor, more than I believe in virtually all Nigerian leaders. And that's why I am out. That's why I have been going through all of this, and that's why I'm appealing. You see, of course, I don't have access to him now, but I can tell you that because I know the kind of person that he is, Mazi, as a courageous man, he listens to his followers. He knows I love him, and I know he loves me. So for that reason, once he is released, I'll go and appeal to him. That the same way you told me to play along, I played and I have been released. When I was released, I went on air to appeal to Mr. President for your case to be discontinued. I know you are a strong man, but because of those of us who love you and we want to see you outside, please stop so and so, discuss with Mr. President, and see how this thing can be resolved amicably. I am very sure Mazi will listen to me, because he is a listening person. We argue with him on certain things, and he's very vast. So that is the reason why I am coming out now to make this appeal and to tell Nigerians that, and all those listening to us, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. He is not a criminal. His only problem is that he's fearless and courageous. He hates injustice. He used to tell me, usually tell me, he will speak in Igbo and translate to me. He will say this is a proverb in Igbo language. That I remember a particular word that he told me, that in their place, when a child is beaten by his parents, is being beaten by his parents, and the child runs to an elder, yes, that elder now serve as a shield, so that the parents will not continue to beat again. And also that if anybody is being molested, it is the responsibility of others to come out and stand for the person who is being molested, so that you don't keep quiet when a particular person is being humiliated. That he will speak in, he said that this is a proverb in Igbo language, and then he will translate that this is, so there are so many things he told me, so that these things are not allowed. These are the things that are not good, and society must condemn acts of injustice. And that's why, and he demonstrated that, and he's still demonstrating that in the detention facility where he is. As I speak to you, if not because of the professionalism of the DSS officers who are close to him, I can tell you that all of them, if you ask them, those that are close to him, that work close to him, all of them, no exception, will say that they should release him.